Alright, this video is about how I pack my pack. I've done videos on what's in it. This is how I pack it. So before I start, I'm just going to look over everything. So there's a couple changes from what you saw in the video of what I'm putting in it. Most notably is this. This is my sleeping bag. You saw it before it was in its original pack, the Hilo Light or Hilo whatever it is, pack for REI. This is a dry bag. It will keep it from getting wet, but it's also lighter than the bag that it actually came with. So it's waterproof and lighter than the bag came with. These little cheap little dry bags, you can get them at Walmart. I think they're like a pack of 3 of them for 10 bucks. So they're pretty nice and they're really light. So when I pack my pack, I pack the things that are heavier towards the bottom and also the least need. So if I like my tent, I'll put very first down at the bottom. Number one, it's already waterproof, so if I set my pack on the wet ground, nothing's going to come up through the tent. Number two, I don't need the tent until I get where I'm going, so I don't need it at all. So while I'm hiking, so I will pack it last. Maybe I should go over the things that are in the pack right now. Make sure I get everything out. So my brain's empty. There is a waterproof cover for my pack in here. This is also where I'll put my keys and my wallet when I'm hiking. But that's all that's in the brain. The brain's nothing in there other than the waterproof cover. The main body's empty. My side pouches are empty. If you see on my pack that I carry one of these, this is a thermometer. Tells you the temperature. This one's actually needs new batteries. It's perfect timing for it to go dead. I can get a new one for this hike. It's always nice to know what the temperature is, especially when you're getting ready to get out of the tent. This is a cloth. My nose runs when I'm walking, so I use that to wipe my nose. And this is just so I can open packages. And these things are really nice. These are really, really light, super, super light. Great little knife to have on the trail. And then we talked before about my water tube adapter for my smart water bottle. The side pouches, I've already got a couple Snickers bars, Twix bar. I have my energy gummies and animal crackers in here. That's my snacks for while I'm walking. I don't want to have to stop to get snacks out. When my calories start dropping, I want to be able to throw them right back in me and keep going without stopping. Typically, I would use this for a trash bag. However, I'm going to change them to put my bug stuff in here and just throw my trash in my pocket this time to see how that works. And this is my cell phone holder. I run the Far Out app, and when I'm running the Far Out app, I do a record of my trail. So that's nice access for stopping and starting it and checking where I'm at on the trail. And then this has a little front pouch, and it actually has a one of them wristbands for the buggables for bugs, just in case I run into bugs right and need one quick access. And again, my Crocs, they hang on the outside, and my pee bottle for at night. Alright, so when I go to pack this, typically I pack mine from the top. This has top access, like all packs do. That's how I typically pack it. But for today, I'm going to show you guys how I pack it. I'm going to open up the front. So this pack has access to the top or access from the front. I can actually open up the pack this way, and I can actually stack stuff in, and you can actually see how it's laid in there and how I'm organizing it. It works pretty good for this. I almost never open that section. That's one of the reasons I'm going to go to a lighter pack. I don't really use that, and that actually adds a good bit of weight because of the zippers. However, you can see the heavy stays in this, how heavy duty this pack is. However, this works really good to show you how everything lays in my pack. So the tent, I always stuff in first, all the way to the bottom. These are probably one of the most troublesome things to pack is your tent poles. Unless you have a poleless tent, so some tents, really high-end, ultra light tents, use your poles. And that's what holds you up. Your hiking poles, that's what holds your tent up. This tent is an ultralight tent also. It weighs well less than 4 pounds for everything. But this comes with poles. So you put them in this way, you can see how they arch the bag out. Typically, you got to put them in up and down. A lot of people will use their side pouches. You can do that. I prefer to keep this weight dead center, and I do that by putting it literally dead center in the back of my pack. So it'll actually sit like this, and there'll be things behind it. So I usually put my the clothing bag. I don't get into it, even though my puffy's in here, and I may need that. If it's a colder season, I'll keep the puffy out of this is my sleeping bag. Anyway, my sleeping bag I'll put in first. The sleeping bag, because I ain't gonna need that till I get there, so that's in there now. My clothing bag. This is a compression sack, just to save space. And you can smash these down. As far as I got that smashed down, I could probably even get a smaller compression sack, or I could even put the pillows in there if I want. I've done that actually in the past. But this compression sack has my clothing in it. I'm not gonna get anything out of here. The puffy, if I needed it, if it was cool out and I may need it while I'm hiking, I would just keep it out of here and then just stuff it in the pack on top. So I got my tent poles, my sleeping bag, my Nemo Tensor sleeping pad. So now you can see how it's kind of laying in layers inside. This is my Chair Zero. My Chair Zero I use on break, so at lunchtime I will get this out, and when I'm sitting on break for half an hour, 45 minutes, I will get this out and I will use it. So I don't want that anywhere I can't get to it easily. So the pillars, I used to stuff them in this a dry sack, and if it was going to be wet season or we are going to know it was going to rain on this section hike, I would put it in a dry bag. However, they're not calling for any rain, so typically when it's not calling for rain, I usually like to just stuff them in and let them be a space taker, just to fill the bag and keep stuff from moving around. They don't require to be crushed. I have plenty of room. It's a 75 liter bag. Space is not an issue for me. I can fit everything I want in here, plus I could probably put everything I have in here 2 times if I really wanted to, if I expanded my bag all the way. So space is not an issue. Another reason I'm looking at going to a smaller, didn't even take the tag off that yet. Told you the knife comes in handy, so. Got this pillow is actually only $10 on the Memorial Day sale at REI. Helped making the decision to get a second pillow easy for me. So I got that in there, and then I can rebuckle this up. Alright, so now the pack's sitting straight up. And I still have all this space on top. And I haven't even crushed anything down. So I've crushed nothing down into this pack. It still has a ton of space in it. As you can see, I can fill this all the way up. The rest of what goes in here, typically for me, is just my food bag and my Chair Zero. So these are the 2 things I use at break. My Chair Zero and my food that I need that's inside the center of the pack. I keep my stove on the outside of my pack. The nice thing about having this extra space too, when I put my food in there, this food is not being crushed down at all. I just want to check the camera, make sure you can see. So this food is not being crushed at all. So I carry like crackers and things like that, and I don't have to crush them at all. I literally can just draw that bag down, and there's no pressure on that food bag at all. Now that'll obviously shrink as the weekend goes, and this will get lower and lower and lighter and lighter. And that's the goal. Keep eating, keep drinking. So I just flip the brain over, and that's how that sits. No pressure on my food bag other than it just sitting on top. All right. So before I buckle my brain down, I guess I can put. So I put my brain on, and you can see when the food is full, my brain's a little looser, so I got to loosen up my straps and loosen it up. as the weekend goes, I'll be able to crush that down. But with my food in there, I don't want to put pressure on. So in my bag, in my brain, I keep my drink mixes. These are electrolyte drink mixes to keep your electrolytes up. I mix them in my water bottle. I filter it, then I just throw a couple packets in there. I use them every time I get water, so they're obviously something I need to access. The snacks, as you're walking, like I said, I got the snacks I can instantly get to. I also keep some that I don't have to get into my food bag as I'm walking. If I'm like, oh, I went through my snacks already and I'm just like, I need something else. Or, I'll be honest with you, I keep this a lot of times for other people. Somebody else is like, I can tell they haven't been eating. And it's pretty easy to see when you're out there on the trail. I'll offer them something to eat. And they can just, I don't even have to take my pack off. I'll be like, hey, just jump up there and grab something. And they can get that out for themselves. So that's my food and my water treatment, or water flavoring packets. I keep them on top. Something else you need, you don't want to have to get in your pack, because when you got to go to the bathroom, you want to be able to get there quickly. I use these. This is a travel size dude wipe packs. This is what I use. These are flushable, biodegradable. So these are what I use. That's what I also use to take a bath. For a weekend, there's 18 of these. I try to average about 4 a day. So if you go to the bathroom, you take you wipe down in your bath at night. Easily do 4 a day. That's 16. You still have 2 left over. So, and that's if you use 4 every single day. So the pack is probably a little larger than what you need, but it's nice to have. If anybody's ever gotten sick in the stomach on a trail, it's nice to have a little bit extra, and it's not something you mind carrying. They're not heavy. So I keep them. Sometimes I put them. My brain has 2 sides. It actually overlaps. One's over top the other, so stuff stops on top, stuff's underneath. That's actually how this is laid out. Like I said, I always carry 2 of these heat pads just for in case it gets cold at night. My passport, and again, these bug things. I keep them. I put them in there. And I think I said I'm gonna change this. So this, my bug stuff, I'm gonna put up in my front side pouch. So I'm gonna go and stuff them in there. Actually, 2 of them in there, and then my bug spray in there. We're in a lowland, marshy area this time. Looking at the map, to me, it looks like we should have bugs. I haven't seen anything on far out to tell us we're gonna be buggy, but better safe than sorry. I actually have a bug net also. In my bug bag, which I showed earlier. This has got my clothesline, my fire starting kit, and it has some more bug stuff in it, and also a head net if I need it. I wear prescription glasses, as you can see. This is my prescription glasses. I keep my sinus pills and some pills in there also. But this is for my sunglasses I change out. Keep them with me. And this is you soak this in water and it cools you. It is supposed to be in the 80s and humid. We're going to pass some water sources. You can just dip this in a water source, wrap around your neck, helps cool you down. It has like no weight to it whatsoever. A couple grams. One of the point penalties you take if you just want to be comfortable. And that's pretty much everything. Now, the other things that'll go up here. Told you about I always carry a beanie. That's for at night. I'll stuff that in there. And then what else goes up there is my electronics bag, which we talked about my electronics bag before. Here's my electronic stuff. I will not put that in right now because I will charge everything tonight. We're leaving tomorrow. So I will charge everything tonight. And I will get it all together at one time. I don't charge one piece here, one piece there. If you scatter it around or you end up leaving something behind. So I will charge it all at night. I'll put it all in that bag and it'll go up in my brain all at one time and it'll be completely charged. But that will also go up in my brain. and then I'll close it up, and that'll be completely packed. So I said this pack has side pouches. You can see the side pouches right here. I keep my bug bag and my med pack with my first aid kit and pills and Leco tape and stuff. I stuff them inside. All right, so I'll explain some of these things here. This is my kneeling pad. I showed in the other video. That's for getting in and out of my tent, or when you just come up. You don't want to get. I don't want to get the chair out. It's just for a couple minutes stop, and I want to sit on something that might be wet or nasty, or that I need to kneel down to get water. A lot of times when you're getting water, the water source filter in your water, it's on rocks. It's never in a nice, easy place to get to the water. You're always below your body level trying to get to it, and you're on your knees for quite a period of time. This is nice. You can throw it down, put your knees on it, on the rocks, and get down in there and keep yourself from getting hurt, or at least being very uncomfortable. This is my water bottle. This is the extra water bottle. This is for, what I want to use this for will be right before camp. So we're in New Jersey this time, and for some reason New Jersey built shelters where there's no water at, like all of them. So this is to fill water up at a water source to carry into the shelter and then have at night, because 3 liters of water at night, if you're cooking, you're drinking, rehydrating it throughout the night, I can use this 3 liters of water to get ready right for the next morning. And then at the end of in the morning, I'll make sure my bottles are filled with whatever's left and dump the rest out and be ready for the day, and I'll continue to carry it like that. So this will be wet from time to time, so I'll just keep that in my, this is a mesh pouch. It actually dries out, so I'll keep that in my mesh pouch. This is the Reflectex food warmer. So I can set a whole pack of like my peak meal in there after I put the hot water in it. Set that aside. It'll stay hot in this thing for, it stays hot in there for at least an hour and a half. This thing's pretty amazing at how it keeps water out, or keeps the heat in. I usually keep it in the pack. I didn't put it in there, but typically it stays where the food's at. So that's what I'm going to use it for. And you can smash this thing up pretty good. Again, I have like enough space here for, I could probably pack, this pack is big enough and I could probably carry 2 people's worth of stuff in it. And it'll take that kind of weight also. So it's kind of nice about it. It'll be definitely a change for me when I go to a 65 liter ultralight pack. So it'd be interesting to see what this video looks like if I do it again next year. This is my cook kit: stove, Toke 750, fuel can, lighter, a knife, and a towel. All in there. Now, so trash, I keep a big Ziploc bag for trash. I'll take that and I'll put my trash in it. Keeps anything from leaking out onto your stuff. Typically, once I get trash in it, depending on how much trash it is, I'll actually, before I close, I'll zip up the top and I'll lay this like under the brain, so the trash will actually just sit there, so that when we come across trash bag or trash can, I can just have somebody rip that out for me real quick and I'll empty it out real quick. I carry extra bags. They don't have, there's no real weight penalty to carrying them, but when you need, like, you run out of room for trash, or you got stuff that you got to throw away, that you just like, man, what am I going to do with this? It's nice to have other plastic bags, and these Ziploc freezer bags, you can cook in them, and if something happens that maybe one of my peak refuel meals gets a hole in it, or one of my other bags that I already packed get a hole in it, I like to have an extra one. So I keep that with my cook bag and where I keep, it's easier to put it in first. I keep that where my stove's at. Now you can see that I have this pretty much as tight as it can go, drawn down. And I can loosen this all up and you see the space start, how much more space I actually have there. I can actually put quite a bit more in there. If I can shake it down a little bit, I can actually get it down a little bit farther. You see how much space is in that bag yet. And that's just by shaking it and loosening the straps, how much that shook down a little bit. And like I said, I'm not putting any pressure on anything in here. Nothing is stuffed in there at all. There's very little pressure on anything that's in there. As I shake it down, it'll settle nicely. And you'll see that this thing here is going to come across a lot farther now. So see how much slack's in there just by shaking it a little bit. And as you walk, it'll settle a little bit. That's quite a bit of difference just by shaking it. So that's how it sits. The only thing that's not in there right now, and it actually goes with my cook kit. That's why there's a little bit of space here with my cook kit. There's actually a big hole right here. That's where my water filtration system goes. I'll show you that now, and why it's not going in there yet. I want you digging that. Leave it alone. So, the water filtration system. This is my Be-Free, and you can see it's soaking in water. This was hot water. But I soak my filter in water, and you want to test your filtration system before you go. So I'm soaking it. I'll put water in this, and I will run it through the filter to make sure the filter is flowing okay. That tastes good. So I'll run this through the filter and make sure water's flowing good. If it isn't, I'll get another one. I actually have a couple of these new ones. I use them as long as I can. If you continue to use this filter, you can do a through hike the whole way through and on one filter. Problem with it is, for some reason, when you let them dry out and rehydrate them, let them dry out, rehydrate them, somehow it tends to get them. They go slower and slower. I've used vinegar trick, hot water, soak them, back flush them. I'll back flush this before I. Well, maybe not back flush that one. She just stole it. Cora, leave it. I stole it. So I'll back flush the filter before I take it with me, just to make sure. Was that in your way? You couldn't drink the water? Is that? Oh my goodness, you're a piece of work. I'll back flush the water. Nope, leave it. So I'll back flush this filter before we go and make sure that it's flowing. If it's not, I'll switch to another one. The continued use, dry out, use. I've just noticed that after a while they get slow. I'll get many hikes out of it, but at the same time, you can really see the water speed drop off. And then once this is ready, tested, rehydrated, I'll put it all together and I'll put it in the bag. It'll be ready to go for the first time I use it, and I know it'll work. You got grass in the bag. As far as that is, and then the only thing you see left sitting here is going to be my water bottles. I will fill them up the day. Actually, I'll fill them up at the hotel before we start hiking. They'll go just like that. I'll bring them empty and I'll fill them up. I have 3 bottles there. I'm probably not going to take 3 since I have the 3-liter bottle with me. I only hike with the water I need. If I look at my far out and if I see water and I check the notes and there is water sources along the way and I only need 1 liter of water, I'll take 1 liter of water. I don't carry 4 or 5 liters of water over 5 miles just to have 4 or 5 liters of water that I'm not going to drink. So, and I can walk. When I get to my water source to refill my bottle, I will chug as much of a full bottle as I can. I'll try, if I can take a whole bottle, I'll do a whole bottle. And that keeps me from needing to drink at all for like several miles before I need water again. So that's why I don't need 2 or 3 bottles. Like most of the time, I'm lucky if I drink half a bottle over 5 or 6 miles because I just drank a full liter of water at the last stop. And 1.5 liters of water every 4 or 5 miles. That's a lot of water. You're pushing out a lot of water, but that's plenty to keep drinking. You don't have to carry 4 or 5 liters with you. Now, when I go to camp, I get to camp and there's not a real nice water source right near the camp, or there is one and it's always down a hill, you walk down the hill, fill up that all the water bottles I can, bring them all up, and I have them at the campsite for the rest of the night. I don't have to go back and forth for water. So that's how I pack everything. I have no idea what this weighs in at. I can do a real quick scale. This will be without water. $29.7. So 29 pounds, 7 ounces. And that's pretty typical. Without much food in it, that's probably about right for what I would say. It seems a little heavier than normal. I did add the extra pillow. I added the extra water bottle. But like I said, you're looking for 30 pounds. And with water, I'm looking at a 30 couple pounds, so that's about where I'm at using it typically. And I can comfortably carry that all day, up and down mountains, no problem at all. All right, thank you for watching.